What is up, everybody? It's Thursday night. It's time for the old Thursday night live stream where I just make something up to talk about and we talk about it. But tonight, I am starting with something to kind of help out with your action figure photography a little bit because many of us that shoot this stuff, we kind of started it perhaps from a place of, I don't know, comic books, Star Wars stuff, all those kinds of things. So I thought, let's do this. Let's have some fun. Let's make some things happen. And so I'm going to make some word balloons, maybe just one, so you guys can see how it's done with the Photoshop. We're going to check out that. And I think what I'll do, by the way, replay crew, a lot of what I'm talking about tonight, I've noticed that a lot of reissues are popping up in strange places. At least to me, one of them was a strange spot. So I decided, okay, let's make an adjustment and see what we can do there. So yeah, we're going to talk about that. And I want you to know what reissues you found. And if you think that it's a good trend, I'll be honest, I kind of think it is a good trend. So we shall see what the rest of the stream says. Well, hello, Ghost Tab. Thank you for stopping by. Appreciate it. All right, we'll give it a couple more minutes just because I want to start with the word balloon. I will say when it comes to tomorrow, I know I've been on social media a lot lately, kept keeping up with everybody's questions and comments and all that stuff, and it's been incredible. You guys are pretty much awesome. But tomorrow I might be on a little less just because I'm working on a project for kind of, I've talked about how I want Toypixx to help out a lot of pop culture shops and all that for, just that's why a lot of the stuff gets put on Patreon for free, is so they can use that stuff, help them market, do all that. So I'm working on something so I can get that message across to them and send out an email to a lot of ones, at least in Michigan, on probably Tuesday, fairly early morning. So I'm going to start with that with kind of a test sample. And then from there, I will expand it and we'll see what happens. I want to help a lot of these folks, and I haven't taken a lot of time to do it. So that's why I might not be on as much tomorrow, but don't worry, especially if you've been following me on X, the Twitter prompt will still be there, or the photo prompt, because it's not Twitter. It can't be a Twitter prompt. Oh, I'm so confused. All right, we've got people jumping in now. Awesome to see everybody. Let's check in with everybody, and then we'll get cracking. I just got the NECA TMNT. For reissues, I pre-ordered the MAFEX Batman. Very nice. The Stump TMNT. That was, I think, was it you the other night that posted Spum and we're all going, wait, hold on, what is that? But yeah, that's a great looking set, man. Congratulations. And that Batman, by the way, that is the Batman that changed my collecting life. So congratulations. I love that figure. Ahoy, Rex Ship. What's going on, man? Thank you for stopping by. Ooh, we've got some people. Just took a pic for next Wednesday. Fantastic. Are you loading up? I got to start front loading. Maybe that's the secret. It's very cool they're reissuing Hush Blue Batman. It is, man. I am stoked about it. I want everybody to have a chance at that figure because it's so cool. A lot of what will be, in fact, everything that I found that I'll be talking about does have affiliate links in the video description. So if anybody's looking for any of this stuff, you can find it all pretty easily down there. And that's one of the weird spots is Entertainment Earth is showing this stuff. And I'm like, what? It's confusing. But yeah, people have already bought a couple Hush Batmans off of the links that I've shared. Toy Odyssey, that will be the 4th release. 3rd time it's been re-released. I know, and yet its price always goes up. Like, that's because it's the best Batman. I don't think anybody's going to argue that. Hello, Miss Cogsmith. Thanks for stopping by. Good to see ya. Toy Odyssey, yeah, still cool. It is, man. I mean, honestly, anything from Hush so far that they've made, I'm trying to think if there's an exception, at least from the ones I picked up. I picked up most of them. I think that all of the Hush figures are like the definitive versions of the figures that are out there on the market right now. They've got the best Nightwing. They've got the best Harley. They've got my favorite Joker. I know not everybody's favorite Joker, but I love that thing. Yeah, that was me. I didn't learn shit. No worries, Ghost Tab. It was a crossover pick with Hush Black Batman and Snake Eyes. Ah, that's glorious. Snake Eyes, you know what's crazy? I think that two of my favorite figures to photograph, I actually got through that, are the Snake Eyes, the 00 Snake Eyes, and the Hush Batman. And yeah, so that's cool that you got them throwing down. On a side note, the Vanguard looks cheap. Ooh, I haven't watched any reviews of the Vanguard yet. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I think they're doing something right over there. So I'll have to see about finding a review. Okay. So now that people have started showing up, let's get this word balloon thing done. Let me go to, because it's pretty easy if you have Photoshop. If you don't have Photoshop, my apologies. But with Photoshop, here's this. Obviously, it doesn't matter what size it is. And also, if you don't have Photoshop, but you need a word balloon, I've put some word balloons in the Toypixx Patreon for free with everything else. So go over there, see if you can find them. I don't remember what category I put them under because it's been a while. I know they wouldn't be under Photoshop images and high-res images. And I don't think they're under effects. So if you need some word balloons, head over there, see if any of them will work for you. So the first thing that I do when I'm making these word balloons, and they really are simple. In fact, I'm going to, let's see. Let me make, now here's the color. I'll just use the color that I've got in the front right now. There we go. So you guys can see what I'm doing a little easier. All right, now that's just the background layer. Now I've got the word balloon layer here. So you can see these little dots here going around. That's your selection. And that was achieved by just clicking this little circle tool, which is in a menu full of like the rectangle tool and all these tools and everything. So you hold down on the menu and the circle shows up. So that's what I did there. I just clicked it and dragged. That's easy enough. And now I'll just go to edit and fill with white. So there's that part of the word balloon. Now the tricky part, depending on what you want to do next, is maybe it's not going to go straight to a figure. So for instance, you've got a figure directly next to it. So if that's the case, you just draw these real quick. And then you fill that. And you can do that on the same layer or a separate layer. So there's a word balloon. Now, obviously, if you want the black around it, I'll show you the simplest way. And then maybe if we do this again, we'll play with a little bit more. We'll play it a little differently. So right now, I made those in two separate layers. You can see them right there. What I'm going to do is hold down Shift, and then I'm clicking on the mouse. And now I'm going to hold down Command Shift E. Now you notice I have the background, this layer hidden. So when you hold Command Shift E, what that does is it combines the layers that are showing. So if you're going to use this trick, make sure that you hide everything that you don't want to be in one layer. So right here, Command Shift E, and now we've got that word balloon. And now it's the whole thing, it's all together. Yay, boom shakalaka. Now if we want the black around it, we just go down here to FX, it's in the lower right, click, go to stroke, and I always like to make sure that the stroke is on the outside, so for a position there, and then just make the line as thick as you want it to be, and you're good to go. Now, you would have to choose color, so if it's not automatically on black for you, you just click the little color rectangle, and you can pick whatever. I'm, of course, using black because we're talking comic stuff. So now you just use this slider. You can have a super dark line around it. You can do this. You can have a super thin line around it. Whatever you want to do. So that's that word balloon. And now I'm going to show you one more that is, it's a little tougher. But sometimes, you know how you watch, how you see comics going on, and you see that this part, the little pointer that's going towards the figure's mouth or the character's mouth, sometimes you'll see that they've got it a little more at an angle. Not at an angle, but like circular or curved a little more towards the character's mouth. So I'll show you how to do that, and it's pretty easy. But it's just it's a little trickier than what I just did. So here's another one. So now we're going to make the same circle. I'm going to make the same circle. Ha ha. And now instead of picking that one tool I used to just draw this pointer, I'm going to choose, and a lot of Photoshop people don't like this tool. Where are you? I know it's hiding in here, ladies and gents. There you are, the pen tool. Now, I learned the pen tool because when I was working doing a lot of auto part shooting and all that stuff, I had to be very careful about making sure I basically traced around everything and got rid of what was on the outside because they had to be super crisp pictures. So I learned the pen tool by necessity. But it's a pretty awesome tool. So what you do is you take the pen tool and you click it. And then you just hold down your mouse. And like all that's going on right now is my index finger is on the mouse or on the mouse pad going up and down, or the pad, whatever it's called on a laptop. And then if you need, depending on how you want the angle to go or the curve to go, you either stretch it by making this longer, by putting a second finger on the pad and dragging it, or you can make it shorter, whatever you want to do. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Hold down Option, and then because you want it to point towards you want it to point back towards itself. And now you just click again, and there you go. Now I've got it set to blue because that's the foreground color that I have. So up here in the top left where you see this little blue rectangle, I'm going to double click on it. Oops. And I'm just going to find the white square. Boom, we've got it. Now I'm going to do the same thing that I did before. Hide those. And then again, hold down Shift, Command, E. And now there's that one. So I'll do the same thing there. Get the stroke. Might make it a little thinner. So there you go. Those are word balloons. So if you have Photoshop, that's not too bad. It's fairly easy to do. It's just kind of practicing and playing until you get it how you want it to be. So yay, that was tonight's Photoshop lesson. And this is the first time I've gone back to check what I was doing while I was giving that lesson. So thankfully, it did in fact work, and Photoshop was on the screen for you guys. So yeah, there you go. See, that Tamashii Nation's wrestling base looks super tempting. Man, I have a link for that going up tonight. What was it? Is it 27 or 28 bucks or something? And it's like a fourth, it's like a quarter of the wrestling mat. So they're going to be able to, you can buy 4 of them and have the whole thing. And then, of course, you use it for your spum turtles. See, I love the Nightfall Night Crusader Batman from MAFEX. Just wish he had more heads. Yeah, it was kind of a bummer when I tried putting the Bruce Wayne head on from the Hush Batman and it didn't work out. It was sadness. It made me weep. But I like the Hush Batman more, I think, anyway, so I'm good with it. But yeah, maybe the Hush Batman is just me kind of being the guy that's sitting here going, ooh, that's my favorite Batman. Perhaps it's the emotional attachment for him being my very first MAFEX figure. I don't know. But yeah, there you go. That would be tonight's Photoshop stuff. Well, hola, Nolan. Thanks for stopping by, man. Appreciate it. And now let's shut this down. And again, guys, if you ever have any kind of Photoshop question, it seems where people are messaging me the most is either IG or X. So feel free to get a hold of me. I'm just Toypixx on X and Toypixx with a 1 instead of an I on IG. And the reason I had to do that, if you go to IG, there was somebody that had something like 11 pictures of Legos and I couldn't get the name there. And so since then, I have tried contacting them, but to no avail. So I don't know if I'll ever exactly have Toypixx with the I on IG, but there you go. Now, let's have some fun. All right. The next thing that I wanted to talk about, and it's just insanity, and I think it's good insanity, to be perfectly honest, are all these reissues that are popping up. So let me hit the button and make them pop up. All right. So here we go. We've talked about the Star Wars and the Marvel ones. We'll still do a quick recap of them. So we've got Asajj. Now, here's a question for everybody, because I don't collect Black Series so much, but it seems to me, if I remember correctly, that she was relatively readily available. Am I wrong? Or was she a fairly common figure? Because what I think they're trying to do, what I think all these companies are trying to do, is basically, I mean, all the costs are going up and everything. They're basically trying to put out their greatest hits so they don't need to spend as much in tooling, so that, and I'm sorry, so that those will sell through because they're their greatest hits. So I think it's a great idea, especially considering they're their greatest hits for a reason. People loved them. And so getting them out there again for other people to get, I think that's pretty awesome. So anyway, yeah, was she one that was tough to get? It's just a curiosity. See, sounds like you need to start collecting Legos. I might. See. Because, yeah, I haven't been into Black Series, and I'm not sure a lot of people have been really. Let's see, I didn't have an issue getting her the first time. Okay. Because, yeah, and it doesn't seem, maybe she was a fairly common look. I don't know. Let's see. All your favorite Star Wars figures are sold as all these exclusives. All the, what was it? What did I see? Like, I was at Ollie's for the first time a week or two ago, and they had all the Rogue One characters. Like, it was nuts. And they had a bunch of other stuff that you're like, whoa, really? It was kind of surprising. I think most of this set of re-releases were harder to get from what I remember. I never saw Nihilus in a GameStop at all when he was announced and put up for pre-order originally. Okay. I know somebody that was leaving comments was really geeked about Nihilus. I think that was on X, though. I don't think that was here. Let's see. All right, so bit of both with her. Now here's one. I don't have them in like line order. I just have them in alphabetical order via the character. Here's one that was up for pre-order for quite a while. I don't know how long he was up for pre-order on like Hobby Genki and on the Amazing Yamaguchi / Reveltech store, which is where you could get the, I think it was just like a different kind of faceplate where he's looking to the side or something. So I don't know how long that was up. But this thing is insane. This was awfully tempting for me for quite a while. So I was stoked to see that. And like I said, this was me just when I'm getting links ready to put up for Entertainment Earth and all that stuff. What I'll do is I'll go to the action figures and I'll just click newly added. And so I'll scroll through and see, okay, is there anything interesting here that I haven't talked about? And all of these things started popping up, which surprised the crap out of me. But this one looks like a really cool figure. It's nuts. Saddest part is that Rogue One has been the best Star Wars movie Disney has done so far. I 1000% agree, which kind of throws me off because that was why it threw me off, honestly. Because Rogue One is the best movie, I think objectively, that Disney has done. So to see those characters, is that more an indictment on Disney or is that more an indictment on Hasbro? And yet I remember when those were released with the photo reel, they looked really good. They just, like a lot of Star Wars Black Series, probably aren't well articulated and don't come with much. But I don't know how picky people are about that. I'm picky about that, but I don't know that the general figure collecting public really is. And then, of course, the star of tonight's show is this MAFEX Hush Batman. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Batman. This is, for me, definitive. And I'm not saying that just because he was my first MAFEX. So, Hush Batman. I'm saying that because I still, to this day, have not seen a better Batman figure put out by anybody. And I think this thing was released, it was either 2019, 2020. The only Batman that comes close, well, there's two of them. One is the recolor of this one, the black where there's blue on him. And the other is the Night Crusader Batman that MAFEX also did. Those are the only ones that touch this guy. And I've got all those, so I'm stoked. At least when we're talking about the regular DC Universe Batman. Now, obviously, MAFEX has done a ton of Batmans. They've done all kinds of movie stuff. They've done Dark Knight Returns stuff. I still want to, tell me if you guys would find this funny, because in my head, it's hilarious, but I'm wondering if you guys think so too. In my head, it would be funny to get the Robert Pattinson Batman, the Ben Affleck Batman, and the Christian Bale Batman, and get like the best ones from MAFEX that have the actors' heads and all that stuff. And then like this Batman rolls up on them and they're all talking to him so they can research for their parts or something, because this is the Batman. They're just actors. So, you know, I'm just curious. Like whenever they're driving a Batmobile around in the movies, it's because this Batman put up the money and loaned them the car, like loaned Warner Brothers the car so they could use it for the movie. Like, I don't know. In my head, it's hilarious. I'm not sure how it would play on anything else. Let's see, they have cheap Yamaguchi figure. Maybe buy one to test the joints. They are not for everyone. They're definitely made for photography. And that's my thing, is photography. So what I want, what I think I've decided on when it comes to Amazing Yamaguchi is getting figures that are based on anime properties, because that's obviously what they're all about. Like, that's the style of the figures they make. So I've been looking a little bit at that stuff. I think, what's his name? Midoriya from My Hero Academia. I think that's right. I've been looking at him thinking, maybe this is something I should check out. We need a big ears Batman version from MAFEX. You know, the closest we might get is that Night Crusader. But yeah, I was incredibly happy to see this, because I genuinely think this is the very best Batman that's ever been released, and people should be able to get him. And right now, and I don't know about BBTS or wherever else, my assumption is if Entertainment Earth has them, BBTS and a lot of other places have them. But wherever, right now, he's $79.99. And when he's on the aftermarket, he starts shooting upwards of like $200 to $300 sometimes. So if you want them, it might be the time. I don't know. We shall see. If you don't have them yet, I've honestly been thinking of getting a second one. I have the MAFEX Dark Knight and Batman versus Superman Batman. Cape is my biggest issue for both. I want my enemies to share my fear. I'm Big Ears Batman. To share my dread. That would be fun. I think, oh, you know what? Okay. So we've got the Pattinson Batman, we've got the Affleck Batman, and we've got the Bale Batman. They need to make a Keaton Batman. And then, like, the Keaton Batman, because of how great he is as an actor, he's the only one that Bruce Wayne actually respects. I don't know. Like there's this insane bat joke going on in my head that would be just fun to put together. It would be a pretty pricey joke, though. Because MAFEX. Toppy, to be honest, I'm just waiting on Moon Knight reissue. Oh, man. That thing looks amazing. Once in a while, it ends up in one of the threads on X. And yeah, I need that thing. That thing is really cool. And I totally missed out. See, have they done an Adam West Batman? Ooh, no, they haven't. Okay, so we got to add Adam West to that list. So we need an Adam West. We need a Keaton. Who was the guy? There was a 1940s Batman movie. Like, that's going way back, but he had kind of those weird ears of the early Batman drawings and everything, like the early comics. That would be kind of interesting to go that far back. That sounds like something someone like NECA would do, though, more than a Mezco. Or, sorry, a MAFEX. Oi. 112 Batman 89 is extremely tough to be made. Figuarts and Mezco tried and failed. I would put it in the hands of MAFEX. I know. I've never held a Mezco. SHF, the ones that I've messed with, they're a little fiddly. They feel a little more fragile. I think MAFEX, if somebody could do it, I'm pretty sure it's them. Let's see, the Amazing Yamaguchi Moon Knight is awesome. Yeah. I did tell somebody today, because they showed off the picture of theirs, and I was telling them what I told you guys, where I'm like, I want to do more anime with Amazing Yamaguchi, but when it comes to characters, like comic characters with masks, I might be more inclined, because then you don't see all the anime features. But the difference in the way they construct their bodies, and I don't mean for the joints, I mean the actual, like, it's just a totally different aesthetic. So that kind of throws me a little bit too. All right, I could sit here and gush about this Batman all night. I'm sure you guys have heard me do it many times before. But now we have the Pattinson Batman. And I think that he's gotten decent reviews. He's got the chest. I think the chest piece, people have said, sticks out too much because of the gimmick that they use for it. So if any of you have him, let me know what you think. But yeah, like he came out, I don't know, it's been a few months, I think, at this point, and he showed up on the MAFEX site, or I'm sorry, on Entertainment Earth, and I'm doing about a double, triple, quadruple take trying to see this stuff. Shocks the crap out of me. Rick, what's up, sir? What's up, fam? That's a good looking Batman. I'm going to just assume you were talking about the Hush Batman. But the Battinson's pretty rad too. All right. Everybody's so nice. Lewis Wilson did 1943 Batman. That design is weird. It is weird, but wouldn't it be perfect? Okay, so we need a Lewis Wilson, we need an Adam West, and we need a Michael Keaton. And we need this to happen from MAFEX. I am convinced. I'm 1,000% convinced that that's who we need to have this happen with. I want the Keaton first, and then you can do the others. Just wanted to point out that Larry Hama's Kickstarter campaign is fully funded. I did not know Larry Hama had a Kickstarter campaign going, Wreckship. Tell us more. I need to pay more attention to Kickstarter, obviously. Larry Hama's the man. Let's see. Need a bigger monitor too, I think. Let's see. All right. That's the one, man. That is the one, Brick. I'm telling you, there's never been a better Batman. If you're talking like the regular DC Universe Batman. Yeah, Battinson looks good. Not my thing, but it captures the character really well. And he looks right. But I've heard people talk a little bit, like, Rick, we're talking about reissues tonight. And he came out a while back, but I saw him on Entertainment Earth and all that stuff. So I assume he's out there now with a lot of other shops. But something people were talking about was how the chest, because of the gimmick, like swapping the chest out, I believe is the gimmick, it made it so it stuck out almost too far. And I was just curious if anybody was having that problem. Mr. McDysentery, how do you do, fellow kids? Fellow kids. Yep. Anyway, that was one that's crazy that I found. And this one, like, people seem to love this Catwoman. And so as I'm scrolling through, I'm like, holy crap, they've got Selena. They've got Catwoman here. And that's one that I was tempted by. But again, the face has those anime characteristics. So I was like, oh, I'll hold off. I'll do realistic for my comic figures. And then I'll do anime for anime figures. Speaking of, and I didn't have this queued up to talk about tonight, but if anybody out there is a fan of, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's One Piece that Monkey D. Luffy is from, correct? So I just saw that they've got the Romance Dawn Luffy that came out, or that has been up for pre-order for a bit. And then I think it's Romance Dawn. I need to know my anime better. But then they also put up a pre-order for like a set showing his powers. And it looks insane. And I think each one is about $35. So you get Luffy for 35 and you get that set for 35. So it's $70 all in. But it looks like if you got both of those, it would be the perfect Monkey D. Luffy or D. Luffy if you're into One Piece. It just totally threw me off seeing that. I was like, ooh, that's kind of cool. See, Robat Battenbat costume looks mid. I'll wait for the next movie for a new suit. It was, I think the only thing that bothered me about it was how far back the mask went. I think overall it's a fairly solid design, but it showed a lot of his face. Larry Hama's Kickstarters for a graphic novel about werewolves versus Canadian Royal Mounties post-World War I in northern Alberta. It's called, go figure, Mounties versus Werewolves. That's awesome. Wreckship, do you know what the funding goal was for it? Because I would love to hear that Larry Hama's making some bank. See, MAFEX Hush Batman is the best. I love both of them. The blue one was my first MAFEX also. All right. I didn't jump on the Spidey hype train, but when I saw that Batman, I'm like, I'm gonna need that. The articulation on that Batman makes it look like he's wearing thigh-high stripper boots. Battinson, I assume. Oh, I might need to go back. We might have to look at the thigh highs on that guy. Let's see. Yes, Luffy is from One Piece. The original concept work was called Romance Dawn. Awesome. All right. So even though I kind of faked my way through it, I got it right. So go me. But no, I saw that set and I'm like, I want to do a thing where, so I want to make a video series and you guys tell me what you think, where I'm basically getting stuff that I know is that a lot of people really like, that people in the comments can tell me about. Because obviously there's a lot I don't know, but Monkey D. Luffy would be perfect because his name's Monkey and the figure looks hilarious. Basically, it would be teach me these things. Pattinson Batman is the only one I haven't watched. Couldn't get over Twilight Batman. It's actually a really good movie, Nolan. It's kind of surprisingly good because I thought the same thing. But when you think about it, people were big time up in arms against Keaton being Batman as well. So I kind of see it. In fact, I've gotten to the point where I don't argue with any kind of casting decision. I'm like, they saw something that clearly we didn't. But yeah, it's surprisingly good. The only problem I had with the movie was it felt like it ended and then there was like another 20 minutes or half hour after that. If it weren't for that, then it would have been, it was a great movie regardless. It might have topped my favorite Batman movies. Maybe not. The Dark Knight probably is still number one, followed maybe by 89 or Batman Returns. That was gruesome. Wreck Ship funding goal was 35K and they're at 35.5K. That's awesome, man. One more question, Wreck Ship. And maybe I should just look up this Kickstarter. How much longer does he have to go? Skybound is taking good care of Larry Hama. Awesome, man. I heard he got a nice bonus for signing the limited edition plates for the hardcover ARAH collection books. I think I just said books. And the regular series he's doing for them. Awesome, man. Awesome. I just, I want him to do awesome. Larry Hama was a big part of all our childhoods, I think. I've been watching anime since I was 8 and haven't stopped. I know a thing or two when it comes to anime. That's awesome, Ghost Tab. There's some things I need to watch that I know need to be seen. Like a friend of mine told me, because I told him that I'd never seen Akira. And he's like, dude, giving me a little bit of a scolding a little bit. And he said, not only is Akira one of the very best anime movies out there, it is arguably one of the best movies ever made. And so I sit back and I'm going, I probably need to see Akira. So yeah, that might need to get done here sooner rather than later. Anyway, I will go back to the chat, but there's Catwoman. Let's see. Maybe it's the color that makes it look like the boots. Maybe it's the way that picture is. I should have grabbed more pictures for these. And then we've got Darth Malak. Now, he was sold out on Entertainment Earth last time I looked, but my gut is on all this stuff that things are going to come back into stock. If you go there and he's still not there, check Amazon, check BBTS. He was one, this stuff surprises me how much people love it. But he was one that I know was up for pre-order for quite a while. So I don't know if he was really tough to get or not, but you gotta love a Sith wearing a lot of red and black. It's a good combination. Nihilus, we talked about the other night. I think we talked a little about Malak, but yeah, Nihilus, I don't know. When I look at him, he looks kind of like an owl. I'm like, how scary is this guy really? I've never read or played anything with him in it. So give me a lesson about Darth Nihilus. Oh, and now I'll go back to the chat as we get to beginning a discussion about our boy Slade there. I didn't see Battinson either. There's just too much content these days. Heard only great things though. Yeah, it's a really good movie. Like I said, if it weren't for the past 20 or the last 20 to 30 minutes, because it really did feel like the movie was over. And then this tacked on part, or it felt like a tacked on part. I mean, it was weird how they did it because it was something that helped close it out. It was still something that maybe needed to be there. It was just a weird jump to get there, I think is what it was. I loved like the way they did the lighting in there. There was a lot of grays, or were a lot of grays. And then once in a while for the dark spots, there'd be purples instead of, so the Michael Bay movies, and I sound like I'm picking on him. A lot of a lot of action movies did this way back when. So it's not just him. It's just those are the ones that spring to mind right away. A lot of them with the lights, they would go really orange, and with the darks, they go towards more cyan. So with this, it was kind of a soft purple instead of the cyan, and I just like the look of it. I thought it looked really good. The Batman was okay. I thought it was as good as Batman Begins. You know what it was? I think they haven't done him as a detective very well in past movies, and they did that very well in that one. And he was breaking people too, which is always fun with a Batman movie. Catwoman comes with a wide cake. I think when I first I put up a link for her on one of the sites that I had, maybe this one too. I said something about her being the thickest Selena, because that's what I've heard about her. Cool, I might just have to check it out. And yeah, I remember nobody wanted Mr. Mom Batman. But Mr. Mom Batman was amazing. Like we all look back now saying, oh, Keaton was the man. Let's see, it's got about 8 days left in the campaign. Awesome. That means it should have a pretty good kick up. Kick up. That was an unintentional pun towards the end there. Oh, that's good news. That's good to hear, man. I'm happy for that guy. Terminator Zero on Netflix is really good. Ah, so much I need to see. I pick and choose. You know, what's funny is one of the things I'm going to pick and choose is Transformers 1. I think that's actually going to be pretty cool. Akira is okay. It's famous for the art mostly. Okay. A different perspective. I like it. So maybe I can talk to my buddy and be like, you don't know things. Just see what happens. Anyway, this here, we have Slade Wilson, Deathstroke, and yeah, he's a 1.5. I don't know that they've done much with him. That was one of the things that I wanted to talk about a little bit tonight. Rebel Tech has been reissuing a lot of these figures, and they're calling them like a whatever 0.5 or, something like that. And all they're really doing is adding an accessory. So is it worth it? Like, to those of you that have these, is that worth it to you? Do you want to go back and get it because of the accessory? I just don't know. But I'm just curious about this stuff. Like for me, this Deathstroke would not be one I'd check out, but I was surprised that he was kind of getting reissued. Let's see, Darth Kringle. Oh dear. Oh, Nihilus. Let's see. Oh no, that was Malak. Oh, good call. Warning about Akira. There might be a few confusing moments, but everything looks cool. Oh no, Nathaniel. Thanks for stopping by, man. But now I'm not sure. Now I'm just gonna have to tell my buddy, I'm sorry. The chat told me, the chat told me no. They just said no, don't do it. Nihilus looks like either a Kiss fan or a Juggalo. I can see the Kiss fan for sure. Wish they had more storyline about the biker gangs in Akira. Otherwise, great movie. All right, all right. I feel like we've been saved on Akira. Wreck Ship. In response to your question about wanting a breakdown of Darth Nihilus, my wife says, "How much time you got, photo day?" Oh no. I mean, he sent me a message on IG. What was he? Just tell me at least, was he in the comics or was he in a video game? Like the last Star Wars video game, video game I remember playing that introduced new characters was Shadows of the Empire. It's been a while. They show Batman as a detective in The Dark Knight. He made that ballistic investigation on that. What? Right. But that was, again, you're right, made zero sense. But that was all they really did when it came to The Dark Knight. He wasn't a detective hardly at all, like in Batman Begins. Everything just came right to him. I just read over the Wikipedia entry for him. Oh no. Okay, I will do it. Thank you, Rexship. Yeah, the last character I remember being introduced into Star Wars from video games was Dash Rendar and Prince Shizor, I believe, as well. Oh, shoot, I got to start Terminator Zero. Forgot. Get on it, Brick. People in here get hardcore. Spaded one. No combination of words can convince me that Darth Malak isn't dressed as Santa. You know what? Now he does somebody needs to customize. Oh, you know what? If somebody's got that Fresh Monkey Fiction Santa, see if you can pop his head on Darth Malak. Like somebody out there has to have the Fresh Monkey Fiction Santa and a Darth Malak figure. Is Slade's pose intentionally a throwback to Total Justice? It could be. I don't know. That's a good call, though. I had some of those Total Justice guys. I'm just not sure. I don't remember if I had him. But yeah, those things, the way they contorted them were crazy. Was crazy. I'm totally missing my English here tonight. Is it really only an accessory ad or fixing paint, articulation, etc.? I don't know. I mean, it's possible. He looks pretty much the same to me. I know MAFEX will oftentimes make little adjustments, so it makes sense to me that Yamaguchi would do the same thing, like maybe refine the sculpts a little bit. Tell your friend that you should watch original Berserk or Trigun instead. Ah, Berserk. That's the one that Anthony's Customs been doing toy reviews on and basically saying, don't buy any of the Berserk figures, right? When people bring up never seeing Akira and watching very little anime, I've recommended the first Ghost in the Shell to watch first. I found that the story of Akira's lost first-time viewers. Okay. Lost 2 first-time viewers. Got it. All right, Brick, thank you. Was there a Ghost in the Shell series? I seem to remember watching some of that at some point. But that would have been a long time ago. Ghost Tab Berserk is so good. Oh, man. Ghost in the Shell, however, has similar visual awesomeness, but with storytelling that I think is more accessible. All right, cool. So check that out, and then you sort of graduate to Akira. No, those neck pegs are way different. Oh dear. And I don't even have a Rebel Tech figure for context. Ghost in the Shell is my absolute favorite. SAC was so awesome. So much I need to learn. Ghost in the Shell, let's see, Standalone Complex was the series. I wonder if that's what it was. It was animated, obviously, right? I mean, if I remember correctly, it was a cartoon. Yeah, there's been 2 Ghost in the Shell series. Oh no. Telling you, Bad nerd, guys. That figure looks rad. He does. I do love the way that Rebel Tech does that. But speaking of, we should probably move on to the next. Now, check this out. I don't know what to make of this. Now, obviously, they're up for pre-order because when the movie releases, people are going to be all about Fantastic Four merch. So it makes sense, and I'm sure it'll come out around the time of the movie and all that. But these things kind of sat around in all the stores. In fact, I think BBTS still has it in stock. So I'm wondering, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I feel like toy collectors all knew this was already a thing, for sure, right? Do you think that other people are going to jump in and pay $420 for a Fantastic Four set that doesn't look like what they're going to see on the big screen? I mean, I thought these looked incredible. These, I think, are probably the best representation of the Fantastic Four ever put to plastic. So, I mean, I think they're really cool, but doesn't everybody that really wanted these already have them? And is it that they're counting on the collectors that didn't get it to say, well, Fantastic Four was a sweet movie. I guess I should spend another $420 and get the Mezco figures. I'm just curious what you guys think of that. Mr. Matson, the series was called, let's see, Standalone Complex. Standalone Complex. Okay, got it. 2 seasons and a movie. All right, cool. Obviously, I don't remember it very well. Ghost in the Shell is a better pick for newcomers. Akira is a little confusing. Art is top tier. So is Akira confusing because I don't know anime well? Or is Akira confusing because it's just not written well? I know that sounds hardcore to something that is supposed to be a classic, but I'm genuinely curious at this point. Let's see, 3 actually, Arise and the CGI one. I know it wasn't the CGI one. Currently trying to psych myself up to throw some dry brushes and washes on the new Man-Thing re-release. Ooh, never seen a figure cry for it more. That thing looks good too. Didn't they changed some things up on the Man-Thing though, right? I am going to get, YouTube's going to be like, I can't be having you say Man-Thing on the air. We're going to have to take away some things. Yes, let's see. Standalone Complex was my jam. I thought what I'd do was I pretend I was one of those deaf mutes. Clearly, I need to see things. See, oh shoot, never saw Rise. I know when what's her face, the Major showed up. People were like, dude, you gotta get the Major. The Major always goes crazy. Bad nerd on me too. Rick, I gotta make a bad nerd shirt. We need bad nerd shirts, I think. We're just in different parts of the nerd sphere. Like you were saying, there's so much to learn, so much to know. Fantastic Four has never been popping. Dr. Doom is what sells out. Yeah, Doom, that Doom is the best Doom that's ever come out, too. Rise led into a new movie, which was a retelling of the Puppet Master story in standalone complex-ish timeline. So Arise could be a prequel, and then the CGI series is a sequel. Oh no. I mean, it makes sense that now we're adding prequels and sequels into all this stuff. Maybe I just have to skip Ghost in the Shell, guys. Or I need to hire some people to do some of the stuff for me. That F4 set is amazing, but there's very few people willing to drop 400 at once on anything other than TMNT. That makes sense too. And that Mezco TMNT set was glorious. I wish I hadn't missed out on that. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I just don't think, I think the people that wanted this probably already have it. There's going to be a few extra buyers, but I don't know that it's going to be like this huge second wave of Fantastic Four merch. I think part of the problem is that set is just a lot to drop at once, regardless of the fact you're getting 4.5 figures. And that could be too. I mean, that's part of the reason that I didn't go nuts. And then I saw reviews and was like, wait, Sue doesn't even have double elbows? Not that I'm picky about articulation. Thing in Mr. Fantastic looks really good. Not sold on the other two head sculpts, though. You know, when I was looking at it, when I saw the reviews, Reed and Ben looked awesome. Like, bar none, easily the best versions of those two that have ever been made, period. Johnny, I don't think Johnny's that bad. One thing that I've noticed with a lot of Mezco face sculpts, at least with the comics, is oftentimes they look kind of soft. So I kind of wonder about getting online and maybe buying a different head from somebody else and seeing what those look like on these. But I've never handled a Mezco figure, so I don't know how the peg size compares to, say, a Marvel Legend or a MAFEX or any of that stuff. Not that MAFEX has made these characters, but Legends, you'd have plenty of options. It's less about it not being written well, but a lot is lost in translation. Okay. So I wouldn't want a dubbed version, I'd want a subbed. Or is it that the translation is just, there just aren't words in the English language for what they're trying to convey? I could see that being a thing. Akira is confusing because the movie is kind of dumb, so the latter. Oh dear. Combine that with a Mezco Doom, that was another 155, and you're spending a lower monthly car payment on figures in one go. That's true. You're nearly up. I mean, after tax, you're over $600 on those. And then there's shipping. Gotta push the buttons. Break. Well, already then. Akira can get lost in translation if you're not familiar with the culture and style. This basically what I'm hearing is I really do need to just learn Japanese, and then if I watched Akira, although I probably wouldn't learn all the idioms, would I? If I did like a Babbel or a Duolingo or something like that. I truly believe there are very few people who can explain Akira, but everyone walks away knowing their life was changed. That's kind of cool. That's a good, yeah, I like that. Man Thing has a few new parts. You're just trying to make me say Man Thing a lot, aren't you? A rubber overlay on the torso, new forearm, stuff like that. Still basically just a Build-A-Figure. Original had a wash on it. Gotcha. At least you didn't have to buy a bunch of figures for this one. So it's less of a gamble to put a wash on it. Akira is also not my genre, so I'm a little biased. Okay. The last thing I saw was Cyberpunk, the Edge Runners thing on Netflix. It was insane. Like, that's all I could say about it. I felt insane when I was done. Also, that 4-pack FF is just 3 people wearing pajamas, the Thing, and a vacuum with eyes. See, and I do agree with the pajamas look, but if you look at the FF in the 60s, they were drawn looking like they had pajamas on. And I know oftentimes Mezco gets busted for that, and rightly so, but here it kind of fits their style. Spaded One. Akira dips into some pretty high concept stuff, but doesn't really explain it well. Ouch. Yeah, that's tough. Hello, Tragic. Thank you for stopping by, sir. Appreciate it. Are you still on call? You might be on call. I love my job, but hate it 7 weeks out of the year. So what is it's about a week then every other month? I mean, a little more obviously that you have to be on call. Is that the deal? I've been working on a blast effect that I finished up today. Nice. I saw that you were putting together some cotton for a fire effect. I need to learn how to do that. That looks like it's going to be awesome. Final forever spandex pajamas. All right, let's go on to the next one. I was just really curious what you guys thought about that because I just don't see. I see the thought behind re-releasing it to time it for the movie. I do understand that. I just don't know that it's going to be a big jump. I'm wondering if it almost would have been better to save the money and see if Marvel would let them do MCU versions. I don't know. And then we've got Amazing Yamaguchi Flash, which this figure, when I first saw it, I thought, oh, that's really sweet. Like, this is cool. There's no doubt in my mind that this thing's cool. And it's another one that Amazing Yamaguchi is just like, you know what? Let's get him back out there. Just, I'm convinced prices have gone up enough where these companies are sitting there going, we have a pretty cool catalog. People like some of these figures. Let's just re release them, not spend the money on new tooling. But yeah, and I think that's going to work out well for them. And it works out really well for us as the consumer. Now, here's the question. Do any of you have this thing? Because he looks cool. He's got the anime face. So I'm not sure I would jump in on him. But at the same time, I haven't seen any indication that MAFEX is going to jump into doing any Justice League comics, like any Justice League storylines. Tower of Babel would be nice. I just want a Wonder Woman, but a Flash from MAFEX would make me happy. Anyway, I digress. Amazing Yamaguchi Flash. Who has it? And do you think he's pretty good? Because he looks it. And now this we didn't talk about the other night. He is sold out on Entertainment Earth, so look for him in other spots. But we've got Gigi. And I actually had this one just before I ended off selling off my Marvel Legends. And he's all right. He's not bad. I do think the original one they did was a lot better as far as paint and all that stuff. But the Norman head was pretty good. He just obviously doesn't fit my criteria these days, which is kind of sad. I look back and I'm going, because a figure from 2018 doesn't fit my 2024 criteria, I got rid of it? Yes. Yes, I did. Although I don't remember exactly what year this one came out. But yeah, I know that Green Goblin is super popular with the Legends. And so again, they're like, hey, let's re-release something. And then we've got the Joker. We've talked about him coming back. I think he really does just have a few extra accessories. I didn't read anything that made it look like he was much different, but I do like the look of this thing. He's got one of his face sculpts. He actually looks insane, which is very cool. I wonder oftentimes with figures like this about swapping with just a different head. In fact, the MAFEX Superman that I've got, I've wondered about putting that head on the Amazing Yamaguchi Superman or just trying, seeing if it'd work, that kind of thing. But I think LBZ, I think I asked him about swapping those heads, and I think he was telling me that it doesn't work very well. Woo. I'll give Mezco some major props for not giving Reed and Johnny the same body. Johnny looks slimmer. Yeah, I think when we can, let's focus on the good. But yeah, I think Reed. I think it's a good looking set. Sue not having double elbows kind of bums me out, but overall, that thing is ridiculously good. Those F4 figs look like the old Mego toys from the early 80s. They do have that look a little bit, but they look a little more superhero-y. Like I remember those things always looking just way too skinny. Yep, our team takes turns doing this, but it is what it is. Sounds like you need a promotion, man. Just be like, you know what? If I get up there, maybe I don't have to deal with this. I just want a Herbie for my blue and white F4 Legends. Oh man, there was the Herbie that came with, what was it? Was it the Sue, the Walgreens Sue? I wonder how much she's going for right now. And is it the same Herbie? I'm not even sure. Another call, BRB. Good luck, Tragic. Ghost Tab, I know the original Fantastic Four design looks like that, so Mezco's just following the design. Still looks simplistic. Tell somebody to spend 400 USD on that. I think what they're planning on, because I think Mezco is the one company that just is flawless in the accessory category. So maybe they're counting on that. The thing is, when we look at this stuff, we don't generally think of the cost of all the accessories. We just see the figures. And I know that that's not something that Mezco probably enjoys all that much, or any toy company. But I'm right there with everybody else. I'll look and be like, well, that figure shouldn't be that much. And then you look at all the stuff they come with and you start going, yeah, maybe. But again, that's us. That's us, toy collectors that know this source material, that are seeing this and understanding what all it comes with. Are people that aren't into this stuff going to see it and exactly what you said, just go, you know what? There's only 4 figures. Are those each worth $100, 105 or whatever? You know, I don't know. But I think that's a great point. Spaded One, that Goblin is up on GameStop still. Go, 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 folks, if you need that Goblin. Re-releasing stuff is good short term, but too many doing it now. It's making me less interested long term in general. These companies got to work harder for my money now. And I get that. I do get that too. And I mean, that's kind of where I'm at. I'll look at Classified and I'm going, man, I really like a lot of the characters. I love G.I. Joe as a franchise, but I look at them and I'm going, they're just not giving me everything I want in the line. So the money ends up going elsewhere. But yeah, I get what you're saying for sure. I think it's an incredibly good move for people coming into the hobby. I do wonder how much longer people are going to be coming into the hobby. I am curious. I'm it's not curious as much as it's interesting. I will look on my analytics, and there are people that are still like considerably younger than me that are paying a lot of attention to the videos and the tweets and all that stuff that I'm posting. So I do think that this might last a little longer than a lot of us have been thinking. But who knows? I'm not sure. So hopefully, what my point with all that is, hopefully they see this stuff. There's been a couple years since they originally came out when maybe younger people didn't have the money, that they're like, oh my God, I can go back and grab that Flash or that Joker or whatever. So I totally see what you're saying. And as long as they keep reissuing, or I'm sorry, releasing newer stuff, I think I'm okay with it as long as it's greatest hits type stuff. Like I've heard people say things such as there should always be an Iron Man, a Spider-Man, and a Wolverine on the shelf. And honestly, I agree with that. There should also always be a Batman on the shelf and a Superman on the shelf and all that stuff, because those are just super popular characters. And those are the characters that are going to be that first taste of plastic crack. I think I went a little jack there. So I do understand you're re-releasing the Joker. He's like the biggest guy out there. You're re-releasing every Batman you can find, the biggest dude out there, you know? So I get that, but you're right. As long as they keep reissuing this stuff, they do need to start working a little harder to get us a lot of the new stuff too. Reissues are great for those who missed them the first time. Figures like Professor X were super expensive on the aftermarket. I didn't even pay attention. What was he going for? Some of those figs are 5 years old. Yeah, Professor X he was 2019 or 2020, something like that. All right, let's keep going. Now we talked about Obi-Wan here in his Clone Wars outfit. So I'm not going to spend too much time there. Hopefully, if you wanted them, you were able to grab them. I know at least at Entertainment Earth, he's still available. By the way, and this is a plug, but it's only a plug because I know it can save you guys some money. If there's in-stock stuff on Entertainment Earth that you really want, look for it, shop for all the in-stock stuff that you see, grab it, and then at the end at checkout, use code Toypixx and you'll save 10%. Now that only works on the in-stock stuff, but yes, it saves money, and saving money is good. And yeah, here's that Professor X. Had him too. Oh, I sold a lot of Legends. And then Reverse Flash, who's just Flash in yellow, and with an angrier few faces and all that. But again, we've got possibly the greatest Flash villain, at least today. What people think of when we're talking contemporary villains and all that, people seem really stoked about Reverse Flash. So let's get him back out there. Supergirl, who wasn't released that long ago, but she just went up as a new listing on Entertainment Earth as well. So if people are into these figures from Amazing Yamaguchi, game on, man. It's insane, all these re-releases. I love it, but at the same time, I totally see the point of you guys need to make more stuff. Now, Amazing Yamaguchi did do Ryu Hayabusa. They have done Chun-Li recently. They showed her. I think that they're striking a pretty good balance. And then we've got the achy breaky heart Superman, Billy Ray Mullet. I don't know why I said that. Billy Ray Superman. That's just, yeah. Every time I think mullet, I think about that guy from way back when who his career didn't feel like it lasted too long, but he made the mullet a thing, I think. So every time I see this, I blame him. But I really like the suit. This is like the Superman return suit and all that stuff. I think it looks good. It's MAFEX. Of course, eventually I'll have it. But yeah, another one. And I think that's it as far as the reissues I've found. Now, have you guys found any reissues that I didn't go over tonight? Yeah, I buy way less Joes now, but I do buy extras on the ones I like. I decided to do some random customs and just create random stuff. I think the future is creating stuff we want on customs. I think that's going to be a big part of it. That's one of the reasons that I don't know how many of you saw Robo's Monster Force review. I think lines like Monster Force are going to just absolutely kill it. That and Action Force, where you can do a lot of swapping parts and all those things. I think that's going to be a big deal. And they're scaled correctly with all these figures, so you'll be able to use all that equipment on them as well. There's going to be a lot of very cool customs coming out, I think, in the next couple of years. People are going to put their own spin on this stuff, and toy companies are going to be like, why didn't we think of that? Super 7 said something I liked. Why buy Shredder or Splinter if I don't have the Turtles? So they keep re-releasing the Turtles. I don't like their pricing, but they have a point. They do. They definitely have a point. Turtles are another thing. You should always have Leonardo, Michelangelo, Donatello, and Raphael on shelves. Like they should always be there. But yeah, it's that simple stuff that has people going, oh, I should get these. And with those four, they all four need to be on the shelf or somebody might not jump in, you know? I like that crouching pose on the Reverse Flash, more on him than original Recipe Flash. I think they're just recolors. Recolors? I think both of those figures should be able to do the same poses. Rick, he also had a talented kid. Seems early to re-release a Supergirl figure since the new film releases next year. Well, she is up for pre-order, so maybe it's the same deal. maybe with that, it's going to be, this is timed. I didn't look at, when it comes to the Fantastic Four and when it comes to Supergirl, I didn't look at what the estimated release dates are. So I'm not sure. But my gut is, if they're thinking from a marketing perspective, the estimated release date will be around the time that that comes out. And with a Supergirl figure, just one not being $420, I would think people are probably thinking to themselves, you know, I might be able to jump in on that. That Billy Ray guy, Miley something. That's right. I was trying to think, oh, what was he talking about? But yeah. She seems to have eclipsed dear old dad pretty big time. She had, what's the song? I'm not like a pop music guy, so I don't listen to a lot of the radio, but I've never been a pop music guy. Like, I didn't listen to a lot of it on 80s stations. But whenever Party in the USA comes on, I catch myself tapping my toe. I don't know why. Perhaps I am indeed a simple man. A build to order system would be great. That could justify $100 retail in the US. I wonder though, I wonder how many people are into customizing. Like when I grew up, I wanted to keep everything stock. So I wonder how many people are like I was. It's always an interesting, like a lot of times somebody will bring up a hypothesis about this and I will sit back and I'll wonder, because with the marketing brain, I do kind of think, I don't know. Some things people will bring up and I'll go, okay, statistically, I'm not sure that would work and here's why. Or statistically, I think that would work and here's why. This, I have no idea. I have no guts on this one. The MAFEX Hush Superman got up for pre-order again, but sold out on BVTS. Ah, that's too bad. That's it, guys. Like if you get a shot, if you don't have them yet, and you get a shot at the Hush Batman and the Hush Superman, you get those ASAP. And if you've got the money in the bank account, you don't think about it. You see them, you get them. And then you've got the world's finest and the best representations of the world's finest that I've seen yet. Now, it's possible in the next few years somebody will come out with better ones, but the reason I snapped up that MAFEX Batman when I saw he was coming out, I didn't have a Batman in my collection for, I bet, 15 or 20 years because no one ever made one that I thought was good enough. And so I saw that MAFEX one, and I think he was like the second I saw it, I pre-ordered it because he just looked that good to me, and I'd heard a lot of good things about Spider-Man. He's the one, he came out before the Batman. I heard MAFEX Cape Crusader was really good as well. Yeah, do you mean the Night Crusader? I've got that one too. I think with those two, it's just personal preference. Like if you're talking Night Crusader, he's the one that I grew up with. And so you would think he'd be my favorite, but I love the simpler design of what Jim Lee did with Hush. So it really just depends on your taste. The one thing that Batman doesn't do is because of the way the cape is designed, you can't really employ the lower neck joint, but the head moves so well, you almost don't miss it. So I would say that's not that big a deal. I got the MAFEX Batman for the same reason. None of the others were very good, in my opinion. That's Mr. Manson, great minds, my friend, or maybe average minds, and everybody else's are great. I don't know. But yeah, I saw him and I'm like, oh my God, that's the Batman I've been wanting for 15 or 20 years. I need this. And then Superman did the same. And then all the Hush figures started showing up. And yeah, MAFEX has my heart and my wallet. I cannot wait for DC Multiverse Cyborg Superman and repaint them with real looking detailing. Great molds, so I know it will look amazing with my paint style. Man, I gotta give it to McFarlane when it comes to those more cyborg monster type figures. The molds are so good. The sculpting is so good that anybody being able to add something to them, those things are gonna pop. I'm sure when you're done, they're gonna look amazing. Let's see, are you talking about Mezco Cape Crusader? Oh yeah, I did not know about that. Is the Mezco Cape Crusader, is that the 50s style Batman? Whew. Yeah, anyway, whole lot of reissues. I clearly missed the BBTS Superman. I should have had that in here just to talk about, but I guess it doesn't matter since he sold out. But yeah, I think that's pretty much covering it all. But everybody be on the lookout wherever it is you shop for your stuff. Keep your eyes open because there might be reissues for something you've been after for a long time coming out. And like Entertainment Earth didn't make any kind of crazy announcement here. Like I saw them and I was stunned. So it might be that other companies aren't making any kind of crazy announcement either. It might be you just get on their websites and you see it and you're going, ooh, that's what I need. So just keep your eyes open. A lot of good stuff's coming out in the reissue realm. My bad. I meant the MAFEX Batman. Memory is getting old. No worries, Ghost Tab. Yeah, I am back. Let's see, back order. I might grab a third Cyborg Superman because I do not see him staying in stock and low price. Yeah, he does look cool. I know that I haven't gotten into like this Superman here. I haven't gotten into the Return of Superman figures except for Steel because Steel has had staying power when it comes to DC. So I see this getting reissued and I'm kind of like, maybe I should jump back. Like the Mafex Cyborg Superman is really cool as well. But McFarlane's spin on that thing just looks wicked. All right, folks, I think we're about there. I think it's about time to call it. So have fun. I appreciate everybody coming out. It was a good chat, good times. I need to learn way more about anime. And there you go. As always, like I said earlier, thanks a ton. Have fun and happy snapping. See ya. All right, I'm hitting end stream, and now things are going to get awkward.